full well what I had signed up for.
Hello, fellow bunnies. Welcome once again to Tabletop Talk, where we continue on with World of Darkness. I have with me my special assistants, Rusty and Razor. Say hello, boys. Also, happy Halloween. Technically, it's early Halloween for me. Because, I'm ahead of everybody. I am in the future.
Yep. See, you're the reason why.
Why what? Why
Nothing.
what?
You're the
Why what?
reason why the world.
Why
You're the
what?
reason why the world is round. Why what? You know, if you're gonna ask me 3 or 4 times why what before I explain it, I'm not going to explain it. I'm just gonna let you sit there and ruminate on why
Well,
you
wait, how?
interrupted
Well, wait,
me
how is it
and
my
how
fault
I'm
that the
going to
world is
clothesline
round?
you through the computer.
How is it my fault that the world is round, though?
I said it wasn't your fault. I'm like, you're the reason why we can prove the world is round. Did you
Oh.
miss that last part, buddy?
I
Did
mean, I
you?
can.
Did you when you were interrupting me? That's it. I'm sending you to the shadow realm. All right, this stream is over, people. The stream is over. I'm going to unleash the power of my internet manipulation to make her internet shit. That's it, Usagi.
Wait,
I
was that what
cast
happened?
upon you the
Was
curse of
was I
bad
losing
internet.
internet because of you last week? Is that
I
why we
was
couldn't do?
sucking
We
your
couldn't. You.
I was sucking your bandwidth like Sprite.
Wow. Okay, that's why. Okay, so you're the reason we couldn't do the session last week.
Slurp.
That's all your fault.
Slurp.
It is all your fault.
Derp.
You know, it's this is all quite hilarious. You know, all that shit, but like this, Razor just got back from, Razor here just got back from quite the trip, and
Oh yeah.
quite feeling quite exhausted right now. So, well, it's nice to hear these two's antics again. I feel, I'm not really feeling like I
Yeah.
can keep up right now.
Yeah.
So I guess,
If you
uh,
need to sleep,
I think
Razor, just go ahead and sleep.
Yeah, bro.
yeah, yeah. All right. So, talk to you guys later.
See you later, Razor. Thanks for joining, even though it was for a short moment.
Mm-hmm.
Get some sleep, buddy. Yeah. Razor's great. But anyway, it was all your fault.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
It was
You
your
just
fault.
admitted.
It was
You
your fault
admitted
for being
that you were
for having
sucking
terrible
the
internet.
internet. The internet for me.
I was using my powers
No,
of
you-
internet manipulation. I banish you to the shadow realm.
I mean, you didn't real. You were okay. Anyway, so last time we were able to cover Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf the Apocalypse, and then we went for hours and hours on end with Mage the Ascension. So
It was an hour and a half.
we're gonna continue on with Hunter the Reckoning, Wraith the Oblivion, Demon the Fallen, and Changeling the Dreaming. I mean, we could do Mummy, but I don't know. I mean, Mummy the what?
I know a little bit about Mummy. I don't know that much because I didn't read much
Yeah,
of
we can just skip Mummy.
I don't remember if I had it. So funny enough, I actually did have an idea to do a cross chronicle, but not in a board game. Mostly because I didn't really have friends at the time to play it. It was in the form of a text-based RPG.
You got me and Razor now though.
Yeah, and Razor was one of those friends
Oh.
that I tried to get into World of Darkness.
Oh, it didn't strike his fancy. I'm guessing.
It took a while for me to get him into it. So, and then even then, it was like in and out. So I'm like, you know, when you're more passionate about something than the other person that's taking part in it, it's like It's like you're bringing the energy most of the time. So, like, yeah, I was like big on World of Darkness. Sort of like going, like, graduating high school and going into college.
I'm having an arrow point at you. Do an arrow
I feel so
pointing at you.
special.
All right. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's get on. Let's get on with this. Let's get on with.
Yeah.
Let's get started with Hunter the Reckoning, shall we?
All right. So a lot of people kind of so there are two camps when it comes to Hunter. On the one hand, people say it's like the perfect introduction game into World of Darkness. Um, and the other half say not really. They much prefer Vampire. And to be honest, I'm not entirely sure what camp I'm in. Like, World of Darkness is a very clunky system. I'm talking about the storyteller system, the system that like all of the World of Darkness games are based off of. What makes it clunky is how it resolves dice. So everything is done with it's a D6 dice pool system. So everything is done by figuring out how many dice you can roll and seeing how many successes you can get. What that leads to is that combat's kind of clunky. So like, whoever has more dice is going to have a massive advantage over someone who doesn't have a lot of dice. There's also like, so combat. So in terms of like mechanics, dice rolling mechanics, combat's not that much different than like social stuff. So that's why like you could have characters that specialize in social stuff and they're still pretty effective at certain things because of it, because everything's kind of resolved the same way. By making opposed checks with multiple dice, like that's kind of your thing. So in Hunter, much like Mage, in Hunter the Reckoning, you play as a normal human for the most part. But you're not awakened to be able to change reality with your will. Like, no, that's a Mage thing. No, what happened is you experienced some kind of fuckery, and this caused you to have some kind of internal seizure where the powers that be, like, call you, like the vision. I forgot what they call it. I think it was like the visionary or something like that. But like you gained like this sense that something is wrong with the world, and you have to be the one to fix it. And then like you get like these weird subliminal messages from like the television and the computers, telling you to access the Hunter Net, where you can the Hunter Net, yeah. It's literally hunter.net, and it's where you can connect with other hunters like yourself, where you can, you know, form I forgot what they called them. Were they cadres? Oh, just what I'm trying to, if you didn't know, so anytime there's like a group of players, each World of Darkness game has a particular name for a group of players. So a group of vampires is called a coterie. A group of mages is called a cabal. A group, I don't know what a group of werewolves is called, to be honest. Yeah, I think it's a pack.
I feel like it'd be like packs because like wolves like travel in packs. So
It makes the most sense. But they try to come up with like weird, oddly appropriate names for each of them. So like if you look up what the word coterie means, like it'll make sense. Cabal makes sense for mages. Um, what else? Off the top of my head, I don't remember the rest of them. I just know those two. So, but so you've got a group of hunters is a not an organization. It's because so hunters tier up because there's a lot of them, and so you start off with the individual hunter, and then you have the I think it was a hunter cadre, but it's like a group. You got the individual, then you got a group of hunters, and then uh you have a organization, and then a network. And then when you get to the top, it's like a faction. Um, hmm. Oh, right. Okay. So, uh, so these special people who've been given power over the supernatural, they're called the imbued hunters. That is to separate them from regular hunters who don't have special powers. They just kind of go at them with pure gumption. Now these powers are powerful, sort of. They're called edges. Depending on your creed as a hunter, you get basically like what your character believes in and what they have like been blessed by. That's kind of their that's what powers they can unlock. They are very situational. Almost all of them are very contextual in nature, uh, and they only work against supernatural creatures. So against a regular human opponent, a hunter is literally just a person. Like their edges don't really work on normal people. Um, I remember reading the book. I don't have it in front of me anymore because I can't find it. But I remember reading the book. There was a section that said you are a violent criminal,
Damn.
and I found that funny because it was kind of trying to get you to understand like your place in the world. Uh, Normal people don't know what you
It's either
do.
they're trying to get you to understand your place in the world, or they're calling you out.
Like, normal people don't understand what you do. Normal people don't see the things that you do. So when you're going after like somebody like a vampire a like a potential warlock or some kind of demon, right? Or witch, like you're going after somebody who probably has like a community built around them, or they have friends, they have people. They don't just have like other supernatural creatures nearby. They also have like people they interact with in a community, and that's the kind of stuff you have to worry about as a hunter. If these guys are well entrenched, like they have all the reason to just call the police on you, and getting into a shootout with the police is never a good idea.
I mean, that's
Especially
fair.
since
Like, they're like it makes sense that they would call the police on them because like they probably like they don't see what they see, so it's just like
it'd be like that dude's definitely a vampire, and they're like, "What the fuck is a vampire?" You know. So now in Hunter, so there's the thing about that's the thing about Hunter, it and why the storyteller system had such a problem. Uh, when Hunter is about fighting other supernatural creatures, but all the other supernatural creatures have their own mechanics. And as the GM, you can't really like emulate that when it comes to certain monsters that you're fighting, unless you absolutely want to. And to be honest, Mage had the same problem when fighting other supernatural creatures. what would happen is the GM would be told to give them like 1 or 2 dots of like spheres and just kind of work off of that. And it's like, so in Mage, you'll just be having vampires doing crazy shit. um, yeah, you'll just be having vampires doing crazy shit because you just kind of have to make up your own powers if you don't have vampire books. That's kind of how they did enemies, was like they just kind of equated it to things that are in the book instead of like not doing that, which I guess makes sense. But this is why Cross Chronicles kind of became a problem, because there are so many mechanics that the GM has to juggle to keep the players like going. We talked about how mages have quintessence and paradox. Werewolves have gnosis and rage. Vampires have humanity and frenzy. Hunters don't have any of that. Hunters are just humans. So all they have is the willpower stat. The willpower is pretty goddamn important as far as I remember. Oof.
Yeah, that sounds. Honestly, that sounds fair. 'Cause, like, depending on what kind of hunter you are, if you're just a regular person, you're just a regular person. That's like really depends on their willpower.
Yeah. Willpower is really important in World of Darkness. It's how you get things done. Like it, because getting successes on things that you're not already good at requires you to spend willpower. It's like your character's really trying. Thing is, like, you can't do that forever. You can't like keep pushing yourself to the limit. Eventually, you'll start to run out of willpower. And as your willpower decreases, as I said before, your character becomes more and more depressed.
Oh lord, that don't sound fun.
It's like simulating how mentally draining it is to push yourself. So the way you get willpower back is by role playing.
Yeah, you did mention that.
Yeah, that's where my favorite mechanic of World of Darkness of storyteller games comes in. It's the nature and demeanor. I don't remember it being a big thing in the Street Fighter game, but the Street Fighter game is not really about that. The Street Fighter game is about martial arts and like frame one dodging bullshit and going in for the uppercut, going for the punish. It's really good. I like that. But wait. We were talking about the lore, but yeah, just going off the little mechanics as to why certain things work the way they do. But the lore, once a hunter makes contact with the rest of the hunter network, they start to, they form groups and they go out hunting. They generally form groups with people that like have a similar creed to them, because creeds are kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? I want to compare it to like Warhammer 40k in like the Inquisition, where it's like, it's not just what you believe, it's also what you think is the most dangerous. So some people like specialize in fighting vampires, some people specialize in, trying to fight werewolves, and well, not werewolves, but like shifters. Some people try to break the curses of fairies and chase after warlocks and witches, that kind of thing.
What if there's something that like does all of it at once?
What do you mean?
Like they fight vampires, but they also fight werewolves, fays, demons, witches. Keep
Yeah,
them ward off.
sometimes you run into people that do that. Most of the time, it's like, oh, I'm like trying to track down a vampire, but then like, you know, there's like a werewolf or a Wendigo,
Wendigo.
uh, Wendigo,
Wendigo.
Wendigo,
Wendigo.
Wendigo.
Wendigo. I can do this all day,
So,
man.
so there's just somebody out there like eating hearts, and it's like maybe I should put a stop to that. One of I guess the example of I guess I should give an example of what edges are like. So I once had a character who was of the judgment breed, and one of his edges was that he could stare. If he laid his eyes upon a supernatural creature, they would become paralyzed.
Oh, I was about to say they would have a Mexican. You would stare at them and they would have a Mexican standoff.
Like he could just stare at them and they would just freeze. As long as he was staring at them, they couldn't move. That's exceptionally powerful. Like they can't even use powers when under this effect.
Damn.
Yeah, it was pretty high level. Yeah, but like I said, he has to be looking at them. If you could obscure his vision in some way, yeah, that's not gonna work anymore. Also, it's really hard to keep your eyes open for longer than like 30 seconds. So, like past like a round, he has to spend willpower in order to keep his eyes open.
Like he can't even blink.
Yeah, if he blinks, the effect is gone.
And then whoever's looking at him has a chance to dip faster than a tortilla chip.
Yep. You can get. So that's the thing. You can actually mix and match edges, depending if your GM allows it. Because I also gave him Redeemer skills. Judge, and Redeemer. Which is a little weird, but it does make for a pretty broken combo.
I mean, it sounds broken.
Redeemers are like the mercy. So they believe in mercy, in that they don't hunt down the good monsters. They only hunt down monsters that are trying to do bad. And when they do hunt down monsters that are trying to do bad, they at least give them a shot at repentance. So one of the powers, actually, one of the ultimate power of a Redeemer is literally curing vampirism.
Oh my god, they found the cure?
Yeah, no, it's like a fucking miracle.
Oh.
However, like, so this is what happens when you use the ultimate miracle of Redeemers, right? You cure them of whatever supernaturalness that affects them. However, it cures them so hard it generally kills them.
Oh. I think if I were a vampire, I'd look at the Redeemers like, hey, yo, you got any other cure that doesn't, involve me?
And the thing, here's the thing, the use of this power is so good, like it makes the vampire feel happy, like they are just so happy to be like cured of their monstrousness.
Does it also
like
make them ascend?
It purifies their spits. It cures them so hard it purifies their fucking soul. However, here's the thing: it only works on monsters that actually want to repent. So, in terms of like a vampire, they need to have a humanity of higher than 8. I mean, of 8 and higher.
Right.
So, they have to be like almost saint-like. It's kind of nuts, but
I'll be
yeah,
honest. I
that's
was thinking that it would make them so happy that they would also start ascending.
that's essentially what happens. Is like you purify them so hard you send them to heaven. Um, I mean, it may be the ultimate power, but at the end of the day, it's like a very role-playing type power. Um, I forgot what Redeemer powers he had. It's been so long. I just remember the one judge power because it was ridiculous. And I like to use it as like I look like a judge. I like to use it as a gavel to stop people from doing stupid shit. Um, what was the next thing? So yeah, we talked about some of the edges. There are some regular ones like there are some edges that like amplify your attacks or like can create like traps made out of glyphs and stuff like that. And then there's like the Visionary Creed. These guys are like Malkavians from Vampire the Masquerade. I don't know if we talked about Malkavians.
I don't think we did.
So, I guess I'll give you some context. Malkavians are a clan of vampires that are insane. So, when you get turned by a Malkavian, you just become gibbering mad. Because all Malkavians are connected by the madness that they all share. This is called the Malkavian Madness Network, and so that's a thing that happens. So Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is kind of legendary in some regards to allowing you to play a Malkavian, and Malkavians being just as gibberingly bad and crazy as they should be. Like playing a Malkavian is like a completely different kind of playthrough. The same with playing a Nosferatu. But as a Malkavian, your character can't talk correctly. He is just built different. He talks insane, and everybody knows that. Everybody acknowledges that your character is gibberingly bad. There are moments where your character will stop and start a dialogue with a stop sign.
Like Shizuo Heiwajima?
Like what?
Like Shizuo Heiwajima?
Sort of.
As in,
But
like
he'll
how
have
he
a whole
always,
ass.
like how he'll grab a whole ass stop sign and then just smack somebody with it.
No, you can't smack anybody with it. You're just gonna talk to it. In
Oh.
fact, at the start of the game, if you look at your TV, you'll just start yelling at your TV.
Oh.
You'll start dialogue with the TV, and the TV will talk back to you.
So if you talk shit to the TV, the TV shall talk shit bad.
Yep.
It's just like going back and forth.
Yep. And then sometimes you'll see like hallucinations and shit. It's pretty nuts. If you I think one of the things was like you can seduce you can seduce a fire hydrant or something like that. Like it was dumb.
I'm sorry, what?
There's a lot of you can seduce
What?
a fire hydrant if I remember. I don't know. It's some crazy ass dialogue, man.
What?
Yep.
Why a fire hydrant?
You can get into a conversation with a stop sign. You can seduce a fire hydrant because you're crazy. There's actually a story moment that you can kind of. It's not really skipping over, but you like have a connection to a particular character because you're a Malkavian. So that becomes awesome.
Okay, so
like I don't know. There's
so if you get it, so So if you get into a telenovela with a fire hydrant, that's just like that's weird.
I don't know why you suddenly thought, let's go to a tunnel of love with a fire hydrant, but hey man, whatever floats your boat.
You're the one that mentioned seducing a fire hydrant.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, crazy. Crazy. Anyway, we kind of got off topic, but that's Malkavians, right? So, we're going to swing all the way back to Hunter the Reckoning. So, there are these guys called the Visionaries. If you tap too deeply into the Visionary Creed, you'll start to go insane. Because they see things that they're not supposed to see. They see, like, the end of the world. They can't really see the future, but they sort of kind of can.
I see too much.
And some of their
I see too
and
much.
some of the edges,
Make it
that's
stop.
exactly what they were
Make
like.
it stop.
Like they like when they describe visionaries, they were like, think of like dudes coming back from Vietnam. They're like they've seen too much shit.
Oh no. Oh, that's like the worst. That's not a good comparison. I'll be honest.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's like the Visionary Creed is filled with so many useful edges that you kind of want to tap into it. Then you realize the more you do it, the more insane your character becomes. So it's kind of crazy. Now, this is the old version of Hunter. In the newest version of Hunter, I think it's like Hunter 5th edition. They completely changed how Hunter works. So, we'll touch on that later. But, Hunter...
I got snacks behind me, by the way.
You got snacks?
Yeah.
I don't have snacks.
They're of the sweet kind.
I wish I had snacks.
Don't worry, you'll get snacks soon. It's gonna be Halloween tomorrow for you.
Yeah, eventually.
By the way, everybody, happy Halloween.
You know, for a while, my house didn't celebrate Halloween because we're Haitian.
I want to ask, but I will say that.
Haitians don't believe in Halloween.
Let's save that conversation for another time.
Yeah, I know. But, yeah, let me think. Are we on to? Right, Hunter.
Right,
So,
we just talked about visionaries and how we compare them
yeah,
to
we talked
Vietnam.
about visionaries. Yeah, returning Vietnam vets. So it's kind of like that. A lot of people, so people who kind of tap deeply into visionary, they can see shit, a little too much shit that drives them insane. Hunters have a pretty tenuous relationship with them. They kind of respect them, but they also like, man, you guys are kind of fucking weird. Like, who taps that deep into visionary? And I'm like, when you tap into it, you don't want to stop, man. You don't want to stop until you see everything. And then once you see everything, you wish you never saw it. I'm like, bruh.
Bro. That's a little too real.
Yeah, I know, right? Yep. Actually, that's one of the reasons why I like World of Darkness so much. They kind of tap into that real, you know, just a little bit. Just enough for you to give something to grab onto, you know? Yep. So there are like bad guy hunters, sort of, kind of. They're kind of... So they are guys who went down the visionary path and then became extremists.
Damn.
They are very hard to deal with because hunter powers don't work on humans. And technically, all hunters are humans.
you gotta fight like regular people.
Yep. I mean, it's not hard to kill a human in World of Darkness. They're actually pretty damn flimsy. But
Well, as
you know,
I mean that's like a regular human thing though. Like humans were built delicately.
yep.
No offense, humans, but you can't deny that I'm right.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, you're just as flimsy as all the other stuff as other humans. So it kind of comes down to like how you fight. Hunters have to be really smart. You know, you can't just be like a vampire, just kind of charge in, use your vampire powers, and call it a day. Even your edges, even though like that's the thing, edges are just that. They give you an edge. They don't win the fight for you. The other half of the fight in Hunter is like understanding and knowledge. You gotta research what you're fighting, and that takes a lot of work. Not only do you have to research what you're fighting, you have to figure out what it is. You gotta dislodge it from where it is, because most things don't like act like monsters. They try to act like people. They try to hide amongst the humans.
It's like, what are you talking about? I am a regular human like you. Hello, fellow human.
Hello, fellow human. I'm not going to perform Otis from Barnyard today upon that oil company. Look at them fracking my beautiful, beautiful natural beauty. And for what? Natural gas? And it's like, that's sounding pretty goddamn eco-terrorist to me. Are you sure you're not a fucking furry?
Oh my god, that's funny.
So, so the what was I talking about? Oh, right. So you gotta be smart when you're playing as a hunter. And the reason why people say that hunter is one of the best ways to introduce people to World of Darkness is that you don't know anything about any of the monsters you're fighting. So like if you're new to World of Darkness, you don't know the lore of vampires. You don't know the lore of werewolves. You don't know how mages work. So you're hunting these things down, learning a little bits here and there to fight them.
I am simply here to observe, they say as they are holding a notepad.
Yep, that actually happens in Vampire the Masquerade, where you get kidnapped by the Society of Leopold, I think.
Oh fuck.
And they try to study you to see what weakens you, what is the what are vampires weak to, and what their powers are. They don't really learn much because it's really hard to study vampires, but yeah. You know what? I do got to show you that that Brava Alpha Busa series called Hunting the Parenting. It's based off of the new Hunter, but a lot of it is just kind of there.
Honestly, hunting the parenting, that sounds like a sitcom where you're a hunter, but you're also being a parent at the same time.
That is exactly what it is.
Oh my god. Oh
yep.
my god. I can't believe it.
Yep, where you slowly learn more and more things about the well, okay, so the big guy, his name is Big E. He
Big E?
Yes, Big E.
Like Big E or Big E, like the letter E.
Like the letter E.
No. Quite the name.
Yes. He's like he's a seasoned hunter, and he's got like, I think three or four sons.
That's a whole lot of fun.
That
Actually, no, that's not a whole lot. If it
No,
was
I
a
think
whole
it's
lot of
3. I
sons,
think
it'd be like, oh, what was his name? The guy that like had a whole ton of kids to make Saints and Seiya.
yeah. It was. I think it's 3. I think it's 3. 3 sons, and like one of them is a son-in-law, technically.
Oh, okay. So like 2 sons and a son-in-law.
2 sons and a son-in-law. That. So he's like teaching them hunting stuff as the problems slowly come into play. Uh, they basically like start attacking vampires and stuff, and then the vampires come to kill them. And then he's like, "But I wired the house full of traps." And then so he captures the vampires and stuffs them in the basement. And then the first episode is just like all of the things that go wrong when you do that.
Wow.
But yeah, researching about monsters is difficult, especially since like vampires are very, very careful about what information about them gets released to the public.
And to be fair, they
They're
are trying to live in the shadows.
Yeah, they're trying to maintain the masquerade. There was this one guy. There was this one quest in Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines where this guy was trying to write a script of a very accurate vampire movie. A little too accurate. So they sent your ass. Pat, you were basically the gopher to sneak the uh, into that dude's mansion and steal his script without killing him, because he does make some nice movie, and he is a friend of he is a friend of the night. But they were like, "Hey man, maybe you shouldn't do this," and he didn't listen, and so they were thinking about killing him, but they were like, "Nah, he's a cool dude."
Dang.
I don't exactly remember how that quest turned out, but yeah, that's how careful they are. Like, even if it's like fantasy, if it's put in the form of a movie, if it's like fantasy, if it's a little too close to home, they're gonna put the kibosh on that. I can't imagine what it was like for vampires when Twilight came out. They were just like, yeah, fucking Toreadors. I bet Toreadors were like, yes, we can sparkle. Look at me. The thing is, like, I don't even know if a Toreador would drink blood because they feel so fucking bad about it or some shit. Like, fucking Toreadors.
So another vampire would call Toreadors the little bitches of their kind.
Yeah, they're all about like art, being hippies, peace, and shit like that. Like, come on, are you really vampires?
Yeah.
I mean, I have seen some sinister Toreadors, but like, look, you could only make Fruity so sinister, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Aventurine was a little sinister.
Yeah, he could be he could be sinister, and I'm like, that's kind of like the best you could get when it comes to a sinister looking Toreador. That's a good example of like what a Toreador is like. It's like Aventurine. Oh, but if Aventurine was like obsessed with like hippie music and Mona Lisa or some shit,
No.
they're
Well,
like, this painting, it makes me feel. And they have like they're like crying but also having an orgasm or some shit. Like, I don't know. Toreadors
what
are
the
weird,
fuck? I don't think I'll ever want to meet a Toreador ever after hearing that.
Yeah, man, they're actually really pleasant people. Like, here's the thing, they're the most pleasant vampire to be around.
Yeah, but they're crying while also busting a nut.
I mean, no, like, imagine. So this is how obsessed they are with like art and shit. Like if they find an art piece particularly moving. It like causes them to have like a fucking like flashback seizure of like human feelings or some shit. Like this is if their humanity is pretty high, and generally a Toreador has a pretty high humanity.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm just like everything about Toreador is just like so what's the word? Like so blunt. Like they just sanded off all the edges of being a vampire. It's so round. Anyway, I don't know why we're talking about fucking vampire. We're talking about Hunter. But like I said, all roads lead to vampire.
Is it because you compare Twilight to Toreadors?
Yep. It all roads lead to vampire, but yeah. So trying to find information on vampires is hard, and werewolves are even tougher. Like, I made a so there I had a character in Mage that was best friends with a werewolf due to extraneous circumstances. That's why he knew so much about them. But he he never wanted to take advantage of that. And so the reason why he lost his friend is because his faction wanted him to capture him and bring him in for study. And he was like, man, that's gonna start a war.
No.
Because werewolves already don't like mages.
I bet they like hunters even less.
Not actually. They have a big hate boner for mages, particularly because mages keep trying to use their spirit ways. So you know how mages have to have a fairly high level understanding of spirit in order to send their astral form to the spirit realm.
Yeah.
Werewolves can just do that with a snap of a finger.
Oh.
Werewolves can just meditate and then just send their astral project into the spirit realm with their animal form.
Oh,
right?
So that would make any mage who has to do a lot of concentration to have beef with a werewolf.
No, only if you start heading into the spirit realm and you're somewhere near werewolf territory. So if you start trying to breach the spirit realm in a forest somewhere, and there's werewolves nearby, you're probably trying to get into the wrong. You're gonna realize you're in the wrong neighborhood. Here's the thing, though. It's easier to pierce the gauntlet in the forest than it is in a city. In the city, the gauntlet is very thick, so it actually hurts a lot to penetrate it. But it's what you gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
So the ways that werewolves can pierce the barrier, there's they have roads, spirit roads, and it's it doesn't hurt to take the spirit world. It's very safe. Well, it's safe if you're not running into werewolves, which werewolves use those things all the time. Yeah, the mages keep trying to breach into their spirit roads, and the werewolves don't like that. Also, a lot of the underlings of the worm are twisted mages. They're called Nifandi. We've talked about those.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why werewolves hate mages. But yeah, werewolves had a big hate boner for mages. Hunters, they're just kind of they're there, but werewolves have bigger beef with the worm than they do with hunters that barely know what they're doing. Although, when a hunter gets really good at killing werewolves, yeah, they'll notice. That hunter ain't gonna be living for too long.
Well, it was nice knowing you, Hunter.
um, yeah, that's another thing. Like, so generally, when there's a bad egg in a community, I'm talking like in the night folk, like vampires, werewolves, mages,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. They will take care of it themselves. The reason is they don't want hunters to find them. Uh, so that's another thing you're fighting against as a hunter. So that's what the book says to like make things interesting. It's not always going to be a clean cut hunt. Sometimes something else is hunting what you're hunting. And you might come into contact with either a rival hunting squad, in which case you guys might team up, or they might try to poach it from you, or um, you run into a group of night folk hunting what you're hunting. So let's say you're hunting a particularly vicious vampire who's running around just making things miserable for the people around him. Um, there might be a group of like anarchs or like a Camarilla coterie out there, like trying to take care of them because they know the kind of attention that a hunter will bring. Like if a hunter dies, 10 more will show up because that means there's something there trying to kill them. It's a really interesting like back and forth. So when designing a chronicle for Hunter, it's like you're basically setting up a mystery. Like you gotta oh yeah. You ever watched the CW TV show Supernatural?
Yes.
It's like
I
that,
didn't
but
see
if
it on the
Sam and Pete
CW.
had
I saw
special
it on
powers.
Netflix.
Oh, you saw it on Netflix?
Yeah.
Okay. I've been watching Supernatural since I was a teenager. That, to my opinion, that show went on for too long, but it was good. It was good while it was good.
Well, it was good. And then the last few seasons came, and then we're not gonna talk about that.
It got a little. It got all right. So I don't know. Supernatural was sort of good because it got better because it got really shit in the middle. Like the first 5 seasons were good, and then it just started like meandering for a bit, and then like the last 3 seasons were good, but not the ending. Like I don't know. It's just.
It ended with Dean dying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet it made so many people mad.
So me and my uncle were kind of the same way because we knew what was what the ending was before we saw it, but we couldn't bring ourselves to watch the end of Supernatural. But eventually, me and him, we sat down and we watched that last episode, and we were like, think about it. There is no other way this would have ended. And I'm like, damn, man. I mean, you're right. I hate that you're right, but damn. Right. Back to Hunter. So there's there's using your supernatural powers to help you with your investigation, actually investigating what you're looking for, planning out and how to do it, and then implementing that plan. You're basically doing like most of the nursing process. Yeah, I mean, you don't have time for evaluation. I mean, I guess evaluation of like, is the target dead? Is it not? Reassess. So it's like the reverse nursing process, the hunting process. No, there's an ambulance outside. Nope. Yes? That may be a cop. Um, yeah, so it's very, very interesting, and I would like to try as an introductory to do World of Darkness, but I also think Mage is also really good. If you're psychotic like I am, so look at all these fucking mechanics that you can do. Like look, like you look at all this magic and shit. It's like nah, it's just too much for most people. Um, so I guess let me think. Did I cover everything? Because other than like the lore of hunters, I didn't really get into like the different factions. I don't really know the different factions all that well. Um, I know that like so hunters before like so hunters actually have a Dark Age version, just like vampire. It was called Dark Age Inquisitors. The Dark Age Inquisitors were like hunters on crack. Like
They took a big,
I'll give you an
they took a
example.
big, they took a big
Vampires
snort
were
of cocaine and like, let's not the supernatural. Oh, that actually hurt my nose.
essentially. I want you to imagine the Spanish Inquisition at the height of its power, but they have magic powers from God.
Oh no, not God.
Yep. So like hunters have powers from an anomalous, set of powers that be, right? Yeah, Inquisitors were straight up powered up by God. All right, just straight up. These motherfuckers could smite. Like they were just paladins. Vampires aren't really scared of hunters. They just think they're kind of annoying. Vampires were cowering in fear from Inquisitors, especially if they were good. A really strong Inquisitor did not only had Inquisitor powers from God, but they probably had true faith, which makes them even stronger. True faith gives you Jesus powers.
Oh my God. Does that mean you're gonna get Easter?
I guess. Gonna bring up anima beyond fantasy.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I once had I think we had like a weird Hellsing World of Darkness crossover, and I had a character just use true faith as his like thing. Like he was just a regular former.
Speaking of which, since you had a Hellsing World of Darkness crossover, what kind of vampire would Alucard be?
That's a good question. Hellsing, Alucard. So technically, Dracula gets claimed by a lot of different clans, but Tzimisce has like the biggest claim because they are from where he originated from. But what kind of vampire would he be? I'd probably say La Sombra, even though like they're fucking French.
Yeah, you must really hate La Sombra.
No, I actually like them because they have really cool powers. It's just that they're on the bad side. They're Sabbat.
Ah.
And the only reason why they're Sabbat is because the Ventrue kicked them out of the Camarilla.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, because the Sombra don't like the Ventrue. They're basically the same. The only difference is the Sombra have better powers. The Ventrue are very specialized in like being talky and manipulating people. La Sombra at least have the power of shadows. Right? They can manipulate shadows. They can teleport in them. They can make them into shadow tentacles. You know, your favorite.
That's your favorite. You keep bringing it up. Don't make me sick.
I keep bringing it up. See, this is what you're talking about. See, now you're talking about sticking tentacles on me. Trying to tentacle me. You hear that, Chad? He's trying to tentacle me.
No, I'm not.
First, he's gonna marmalade me, and then she's gonna feed
I
me through her
didn't,
tentacle.
I didn't say nothing about marmalading you.
I don't even know what marmalading even means.
How would I know what that means? I don't even know
Because
what
you
that
said
means.
it.
I
You said
didn't-
you wanted to marmalade me.
Why would I say that if I don't even know
I
what that
assume
means?
that just means slathering me in marmalade.
Can we get back to Hunter, please?
No. Anyway, yes, we'll get back to Hunter. So, Inquisitors were kind of nuts, and the Hunters are like a shitty version of that.
Like a... Oh, guys. Oh, I don't like when I get an eyelash in my eye.
Yeah, that's rough. I suggest flushing your eyes out with water. It's probably not a good idea, though. Right. I know I'm just talking like generally about Hunter Eds because I don't have the book in front of me anymore, and I feel kind of bad about that. I don't know what I did with my book. Maybe it's on my laptop.
Is it?
I can't get to my laptop right now. Let me think. What was I on? Right. I don't know. I got distracted by some thoughts. We got. Oh, right. Yeah. So there are various factions. They're not really joinable, but they're kind of joinable. Of like regular hunters, like the Society of Leopold and the Knights Templar, I think. I don't think they're called the Knights Templar. They're called something else, but they're like an offshoot of the Knights Templar. These guys kind of like are like the big factions. They tend to work with independent hunters, but they're generally seen as like the bad guys. Because they're like corporate. They're like corporate hunters.
Fucking corporate.
Now, I guess we could kind of transition to 5th edition Hunter, where things have changed like a lot. So we've gone away from like hunters having supernatural powers. Hunter almost feels like it takes place in a different world. Because they kind of took out the weird and clunky way that monsters were implemented in the Hunter games and kind of made them their own thing, which I think was a really good idea. Like, I may not like the 5th edition World of Darkness games very much. I definitely don't like how they handled Vampire. Okay, like system-wise, I don't like how they handled Vampire. I don't like the many changes to the lore and Mage. Like, hell, 2nd edition was better than this. So it was like, yeah, the lore changes pissed me off in Mage, and I didn't really read Werewolf. I don't know that many people that read 5th edition Werewolf, but I heard it was good. Or at least it was more functional than regular Werewolf, but anyway. 5th edition Hunter is probably their best work. Because what they did was they took that fantasy of being the hunters from Supernatural and turned that into a board game. So, like, compared to like old Hunter and new Hunter, new Hunter, like the players don't really have special powers, but however, the monsters don't have to follow the World of Darkness rules. Like, the monsters can just kind of be whatever you want. And I think that's really cool. It's so they made a more of a focus on the investigation part of Hunter. Like, that was always a big focus, but they really fleshed it out in 5th edition Hunter. That's probably one of my favorite parts of it because I live for that shit.
Quick water break.
Yep, go ahead. I could use some hydration myself, but guess what? I don't have any.
Well, you'll get some.
I can't.
What do you mean you
Tired.
can't?
Tired and lazy.
Fine, you're the one waking up with a headache, not me.
I don't get headaches when I'm thirsty. I just fall unconscious.
No.
Let me think. Right. So, since you don't really have to juggle powers much anymore, you're kind of juggling like what what kind of things your character have access to. They're traditionally like they're a part of your background and like the stuff you spend your development points on to get dots in a certain background. But that's kind of like a big part of the game now of what you have access to, what kind of how much wealth you have, connections and networking that you've done and stuff like that. So it's all about like how you can gather information, and then how much information did you gather, and whether or not it's like true and or relevant to what you're hunting, and a whole bunch of stuff like that. I just thought like that whole thing was really interesting. I know I'm not making it sound that interesting, but there's a lot of like role playing, dice rolling, and like it's very like linked mechanically. Combat is slightly better. It's still clunky ass storyteller combat, so that's it's not much different. Yeah, it's just that the new Hunter kind of changed the lore to get away from like the whole imbued thing. Yeah, there's no. I mean, the Hunter net still exists, but it's not like you've been chosen by the powers that be to get like sort of cool powers that only work on supernatural, only work on supernatural monsters.
What if you're the monster?
That is actually a thing that can happen. It's been about an hour since we started talking about World of Darkness.
An hour and 9 minutes, actually.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I kind of meandered all over the place a little bit. We eventually found our stride talking a little bit more about Hunter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, did I go over like what True Faith does?
No.
So True Faith is actually able to be accessed by any creature. But it's like the one thing that like a human can kind of make special about themselves. True faith means that your character absolutely, positively believes in a religion so hard that it gives him powers. Like, for the most part, crosses don't work on vampires. That's like a myth. However, if you have true faith and it's pretty damn high, um, you can make the cross work on them. Like, depending on how high it is, you can make it so that it repels them, it burns them, or it blinds them when they see it.
So if a so if they don't know if they're that they're facing a paladin, and the paladin brings on the cross, that doesn't work on me. You want to bet? I believe. And it's like, ah, no, he's a paladin.
Yeah, that's generally what happens. There's like that. It's like your cross has no power over me. Then it's like I will show you the power of the one above. The power of Christ compels you.
Yeah, it didn't work so. Well, thankfully the cross worked and on the vampires and from dusk till dawn.
Yeah. Let me think. Yeah, a few other things that the True Faith can do. One of the funnier ones is that you can turn water into wine.
Ah, so it's like you're Jesus' clone.
Yeah, you get Jesus powers. That's one of the things you can do is you can turn water into wine. You can
All you have to
purify
do-
water into holy water,
Oh my
and like
God.
holy water actually works. You can make it so that holy water burns in the presence of evil.
That's amazing.
So, like, having a Helsing character with true faith powers was absolutely hilarious.
Oh my God! If Anderson had truth faith powers, he'd be absolutely fucking broken.
He would be.
Yeah.
Hence why I was surprised when they let my character run around with true faith powers. I'm like, you understand that he's broken, right? And it's like, well, it's Helsing, everybody's broken. I'm like, oh yeah, that's true.
I mean, yeah, if everybody's broken, that's fair. In Helsing. Oh, imagine if they
But,
if they had that in Helsing Bridge.
although, to be fair, like, in order to maintain his broken status, he had to roleplay being a devout Catholic.
Oh well.
A broken devout Catholic, but still a devout Catholic. I kind of gave him the similar backstory to Kristoff, where he fell in love with the nun, but the nun got turned into a vampire and tried to kill him.
Was there a Shakespearean love confession?
No, because it takes place in modern times, so there wasn't a Shakespearean love confession.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. There was less vanilla.
I think I named him. What was his name? Like William H. Wright or some shit like that. It was just I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, but he was a fun character.
Was he related to Phoenix Wright?
No.
Ah.
I wish.
Damn. Then again, I guess that would require Helsing and Ace Attorney being in a crossover.
Yeah, that would be a little weird.
I don't even know what that would look like.
Your Honor, my client is innocent. He pleads no diddy. And then Alucard gets up on the stand. All the diddy.
It's like, damn it. I'm trying to defend you, man. Like,
You
yeah,
can't defend the darkness.
Alucard would be the worst fucking ever.
He would be. I'm surprised Alucard's not a booty warrior. Oh wait, he is.
Oh, don't remind me. Don't
Yep,
remind
I
me.
have reminded you. You now
Fucking
remember.
Razor cursed us both.
Did you pray today?
Oh, stop! Alright, anyway.
What was I on again? Alright, let's talk about True Faith. Yep, True Faith is a very interesting set of abilities that do give you an edge, mostly against the supernatural, but also against regular people. Like, so True Faith has the power to disrupt magic spells.
Oh shit.
Like, if the faithful can see, like, the beginnings or like just the casting of some kind of foul magic or supernatural ability by the creature, he could just be like, his faith can rebuke it.
That's amazing.
Yep, so
That is
it's
mega
not
broken.
just it's not just he can interrupt magic spells, he can interrupt vampire abilities.
Okay, that's a broken ass paladin.
Yep. He can just flashbang you with his cross. He can interrupt your abilities. He can throw holy water and make it light on fire around you. It's just like, bruh. Like, I don't know if you remember the Blade movie where he
I love
made,
Blade as a kid.
yeah, Blade was so good. He put like holy water in the fire sprinklers.
Which was smart.
Which was smart, but like you could do that. And like you'll just light an entire building of vampires on fire with it.
The power of Christ compels you.
You know, it's like, but like that's the kind of stuff you got to do as a hunter. Is like you got to be smart like that. You're not a crazy supernatural creature. Like a vampire on a good day can probably take down like 10 humans no problem. But there's no way you're gonna fight a handful of vampires as a single hunter. Not with the crazy ass abilities they have. I know I keep going back to Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, but like it's such a good game that it's a game that keeps on giving, even though it's like mostly broken and it's barely as functional. You actually get to fight in the later chapters. You actually get to fight a True Faith Hunter.
Amazing.
He's not as powerful. Well, he is pretty powerful, but he doesn't fight you head on. He gets you with hit and run tactics. And it kind of shows you, even if he has all these advantages over you, he still can't fight. He still can't fight like toe for toe with a vampire because he's still just a human.
No matter the faith, you're still just a human.
Yep. But like at the end of the day, and that's what it comes down to in Hunter, you're a human in this world filled with evil, darkness, and bullshit. You're trying to fight it, and that's why I like it so much. Is like, I don't know, I like that kind of vibe where it's like you and your group of dudes, you know, you and the boys get together to go fight a saber-toothed tiger or you know, that transforms into a man. Oh man. Oh man. I'm tired. But yeah, no, I think that's about all I got on Hunter.
Alright, so now, tell us what you can at least remember about Wraith Oblivion.
Well, I did kind of talk about it before with the whole like, there's two sides to Wraith. Nobody likes to play Wraith because Wraith is kind of known as the really sad game, and a lot of its mechanics are built around being really sad.
Damn.
So, like, that's one part of it. Especially like dealing with the fetters, and then I don't think they're called Reapers. I like the guys who kind of torture you,
So this
and
game,
try to like.
so Wraith the Oblivion is basically sadness incarnate.
Yes, that's one half of it though. The one half is like sadness incarnate, and the other half is wacky ghost D&D adventures. There was one extreme, so well, like, there was one, I don't know if it was a group, but they put together this anthology book that was essentially a set of campaigns in Wraith the Oblivion that dealt with the Holocaust.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was real dark, real heavy, and like very well done, very well written. But that story was so dark and so heavy that like it made it hard to play Wraith. And so that's why a lot of people kind of forgot that other half of Wraith. Which is like ghostly D&D adventures in like a super dungeon. You know, with the ghost empire. It feels like they were trying to make two different games, and that's basically it. There's a reason why Wraith is not really played all that much, but they don't stop supporting it, or at least at the time they didn't. They now have a new version of Wraith called the Orpheus Project, where I think it's a really cool idea. So imagine ghost hunting. Imagine you're playing Phasmophobia, but instead of walking into the house with your physical body, you send your soul in.
Oh wow.
You're ghost hunting as a ghost.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so like that's why I think it's a really cool idea. Like, as much as I like Wraith the Oblivion, and you really can't have like the cool like ghost D&D adventures that Wraith the Oblivion used to have, or the Orpheus Project is a really cool idea. Like taking the kind of the base around Wraith the Oblivion, which is kind of like being a ghost, but turning it on its head and being like ghost hunters, being the ghostly ghost hunters.
What was it called again? Orpheus.
Or I think it's called Orpheus, the Orpheus Project, or something. I don't remember. Just look up World of Darkness Orpheus.
Okay.
Right. Demon the Fallen. Because that's the newest old World of Darkness game.
Hold up, let me put some things in order.
Oof, oof. I don't know much about Changeling because the only time I read Changeling was way back in the day when I was making a mage character that had a fae for a mother.
Ooh.
I just had to figure out what kind of fae that she was. I didn't really read too deeply
No, we don't have to talk
into
about
the
changeling in
Changeling.
that case.
Yeah, so I don't actually know all that much about Changeling. Just a little bit here and there. But Demon the Fallen, I read that backwards and forwards for like a while. A little too long, in my opinion. I love the lore of Demon because it kind of. So you remember the lore for Vampire and how it kind of tapped into like the biblical stories?
Yeah.
So Demon takes that to the next level. So in Demon, you play as a fallen angel.
Oh, okay.
So like many of the demons are from like the time before, like they're like they were from like creation times. Not many of them remember all far that far back because of how corrupted they've become. But essentially, you are one of the people who decided to side with Lucifer all those years ago.
Oh, okay.
Um, or you did something that made you like not fit uh, the original image. A lot of times, so a lot of the different like I wouldn't call them factions, but like I guess they're technically factions in Demon. Um, they have go. Come on, work.
Again, now I gotta pee. I'll be right back.
Good.
I return.
Welcome back. I have the found the demon book.
Oh, nice.
Right, it was called Torment.
What?
Yeah, it took me a while. I've been scrolling through the book, and I'm now on page 122. And they finally told me what Torment is. Right. So, right, Torment. I can't believe I forgot about Torment. So, demons aren't really like real. You can't kill a demon, not permanently at least.
Wait, not
When
even
they
the paladin
die,
can kill a demon?
no. When you kill a demon, they get sent back to hell, and they don't like that. So that's basically That's basically just like killing them. There's a reason why they've been alive since creation. It's because when they die, they get sent back to hell. Demons don't like it in hell. Hell sucks.
I mean, of course it sucks. It's hell.
Yep. Sometimes they come up here, they possess some people. You're kind of one of those people who've managed to escape hell one way or another and has possessed somebody. Now, when the body, so your mental stats are actually completely separate from your physical stats in Demon. In other World of Darkness games, your mind and body and your social stats are basically inseparable. But in Demon, your physical stats depends on what body you're in. Hell, you know, like because you're an amorphous like traveling soul, like who you are on the inside and who you possess are generally a different person. However, the longer you spend inside that body, the more of that body's memories you start to like absorb, and that becomes like that can become a thing for your character. It's a very interesting dynamic they have going on in Demon.
Does the vessel have to be alive?
They have to be almost dead. So it's either they're still alive or they had just died.
So dead or alive, they can possess you?
Only if you've like recently died, like within the last couple of minutes. Like if it's been dead for too long, like they're just possessing a dead body, and that just sends them the call of hell just becomes stronger. So that's what a demon is constantly trying to avoid is hell. Hell constantly wants them back, and the only way that they don't get to come back is if they are bound in a circle by a magic user, or they possess somebody.
So demons don't really have a faction, right?
No, they do. They have actually quite a few factions. Much like it's a World of Darkness game. Of course, there's factions.
Yeah. Okay. So, what are those factions? That you can name at the top of your head.
I mean, I can name them off the top of my head, or I could read them in the book. Let me just scroll all the way back up again. Let me tell you, there is a lot. All right, so, I mean, the character, there's like a summarized version of them on the character creation page. So they've got, they're called houses, and the reason why, because they're called houses because they used to be called like the Holy Host or something like that. Before they fell. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You've got about 7 houses, at least in the first book that I have right here. You've got the devils, which are like charismatic tempters and deceivers. They twist souls with honey words. You've got scourges, bearers of plague and pestilence. These demons can harm and heal with a touch. Malefactors, which are artisans of the fallen, able to create wonders for a price. Fiends, masters of fates written in the stars and dispensers of nightmares and curses. Defilers, glamorous shape changers, able to alter their form to become anyone's greatest desires. Devourers, warriors of the fallen, given charge of the beast and wild things. And slayers, tormentors of the dead, able to raise ghosts and rip living souls from their bodies. That's generally how like the lore that they can have access to comes from. The houses kind of determine what stuff they get. Let me think. Right. I was talking about torment. So the special thing that makes demons so interesting is torment. It's a very roleplay, kind of like humanity. It's a roleplay heavy type mechanic that determines the nature of your powers and how you look. Right.
Right.
So a high torment demon is like suffering, like constantly, and he is projecting that suffering to the people around him. Like torment can be like just how tortured you are from your time in hell. Like the more traumatized you are from hell, like the higher your torment. It's not just hell, like the things you've experienced in the human world can also increase your torment. However, this makes your powers way more powerful and way more aggressive. So at high torment, your powers are more expensive, but also like way more powerful. And demons have like a devil trigger, I guess you could call them in this game. It's probably my favorite part of the demon mechanics. It's called their revelatory form. Basically, they could take a monstrously demonic form of what they used to look like as angels, but very corrupted. And the state and how the form looks is completely dependent on how high their torment is. So a higher torment demon is like spiky and filled with horns and monstrous with hooves, and they're like on fire and stuff like that because they're projecting their suffering around them. And a low torment revelatory form looks almost like a very sad angel.
Oh. It's an angel going through depression.
Yeah. So like they'll have like a corrupted glowing halo on their head that's like cracked or broken of some kind. That's kind of where the whole horn things came from. So like the horns of a demon are actually just their halo, just that's been like slammed into their head.
Oh. That sounds very cool, but also very painful.
Yeah, I know, right? So like I've made a few demon characters over the time when I was writing like World of Darkness RPs, and they've gotten better over time. But the only one that I wrote had like a relationship with the body they were in was like the one I wrote for Umaneko. Because generally I just wrote a demon that like took over a dead body or a body that was a clone. But the one Umaneko, like this girl asked to be possessed, and she was like, "Yeah, sure, why the fuck that? I don't want to die. I don't want to get sent back to hell." So that was interesting. It was interesting to write. but the never really got to use that character, unfortunately. But I ended up implementing her in like short stories later. Um, yeah, that's so like torment is what really makes the demon like super interesting, but also it's faith. So faith doesn't mean your faith in God or other things, right?
Yeah.
Uh, faith is other people's belief in you. So you need faith to use your powers. You need faith to survive. So, like, one of your big things as a demon is trying to make friends. Um, but so here's another thing: the higher your torment, the more expensive your powers become because they're more powerful and more aggressive.
wow.
They also cost more faith to use. But the problem is, getting faith as a high torment demon is exceptionally difficult. But there is a way to do it. It's not like it's impossible, it's just more difficult. Generally, you get faith by getting people to believe in you. So you would have them, like either pray to you or like sign a contract with you or like stuff of that nature, and then you would have their faith at least for a while. You can spend that faith, and I think there's like a whole system around like bad things can happen to your faithful if you spend too much. I don't remember if that was in this game. Oh, man. But it honestly kind of reminded me of like Satasupe with like the Trico or Tricos. Well, I'd say that in reverse. Like the Tricos reminded me of like the demons, the demon faithful. Where you essentially, your whole job is to get simps, and once you have simps, you'll be able to use your powers. Maintaining your simps is extremely important to not only you being a demon, but also like your survival. As a demon, you need simps to survive.
Demons need sims to survive. Yeah, that's true.
Yep. And so you have various ways of making people simps. How do you do it as a high torment demon though? With fear. You can gain faithful with love, respect, or fear. Now, you get significantly less faith from people being afraid of you, but you could just terrorize people into being faithful. Like, that's the thing. That's generally how a high torment demon does it. High torment demons are generally bad guys. They're kind of like bullies.
I mean, of course, because they act all high and mighty and think they're hot shit.
Yeah, but they're also like constantly suffering and projecting their trauma onto other people.
Yeah, 'cause, like,
Yep.
they're projecting all their torment on everybody else.
Yep. I did want to have a moment where a demon character, like,
You know what I wrote?
over
Faith
the
equals
over the
Sims
course.
give power.
Yep. Sims give you power. Like that's so as a vampire, you might get a thrall or two. I mean, I'm sorry, ghoul. You might get a ghoul or two and stuff like that, or a mage. You might get like like an assistant, a magical assistant. That's just like a human, but they just help you.
Yeah.
but that's not really necessary. In a demon, you need simps. Without simps, you are nothing. And without you, your simps are nothing.
You gotta make the Sims believe that without you, they are nothing.
Yep.
That's why it's as they say, love is temporary, something is forever. World of Darkness proves that.
Starting Torment 3. Yeah, there's a. I remember some of this stuff. What was I talking about? Oh, right. Yep. So the higher faith that you have, each dot, and this is one of my favorite parts about World of Darkness. Each dot represents some kind of thing, and the higher your faith, the more people, like the more known you are as some kind of like divine figure. So when you get to the high, you really generally don't get to the higher levels of faith because it takes a lot of people to get there. But
oh, I'm sorry.
You can't get there. It's just it takes a lot of work, lots of stuff. And when you start to gain, enough of a following, other demons start to notice and they start trying to like take you out. Not to say like there can't be an angel. You can't end up fighting an angel because that's a thing that can happen.
I mean, of course, were there demons without angels?
Yeah, a lot of people don't really play demon, and I understand why because it's a very different kind of game.
Yeah.
It's not like crazy different like mage because I consider mage to be like kind of the outlier. Mage, changeling, wraith are kind of like the outliers of what people consider World of Darkness because it's like mage is kind of philosophical. Wraith is very, very depressing. And demon is kind of self-contained. Demon has nothing to do with the meta plot that World of Darkness had going on at the time. And they're just demons just kind of do their own thing. But I think that's okay. And to be honest, I wish they did the same thing with Werewolf. Because if Werewolf could get its head out of its ass involving the worm and eco-terrorism, I think it would be a pretty good game. I'm just saying. It's like okay, I'm not saying like the fight against the worm is bad. I'm just saying like the apocalypse is so pressing of a matter for werewolves that like nothing else matters. Demons don't have that problem. Like, demon doesn't have that problem.
The only problem demons have is that they don't want to go back to hell.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, the only problem that demons have is they don't want to go back to hell. And you got people dealing with, you got other demons to fight. You got mages trying to fuck with you. Oof. You may or may not have angels involved. Some good stuff. The lore for demons is pretty crazy. In fact, I'll send it to you if you want to read it.
Ooh, I actually want to read it. Yeah, just send it to me. Alright. Is that about it with Demon the Fallen?
Yeah, I think that's about it.
Alright, so now we're going to turn to a hypothetical, what was it, cross campaign?
Cross Prodigal.
Cross prodigal? Yeah. What I called it,
Yeah.
I named it this because I thought it was funny. I called this hypothetical camping, Revelry in the Dark. What, not funny?
What I missed? You kind of cut off at the second.
I called
when
it
you said it. What'd you say?
Revelry in the Dark.
Revelry. That's
Revelry in the Dark.
interesting.
I mean,
You're a revelry.
I mostly said that in reference of that crow guy from My Hero Academia. Because he
Oh.
keeps saying Revelry in the Dark in one episode. And I thought it was just,
In the dark.
I just thought it was funny.
Ow. Oh, I
And
just hurt my back.
And what I had in mind was like, you're just a bunch of like vagabonds of any and all species, like going through it in the middle of like everybody's problems.
Yeah. I want you to imagine the biggest clusterfuck of a mess you've ever seen. That's what a Cross Chronicle looks like. And let me tell you, keeping track of all that shit is very difficult. Trust me, I tried.
No, the
I'd
party
even
can
like-
be like I just want you to imagine what the party would be like.
Oh
It
yeah,
can
what
be
the party
whatever
would
kind
be
of
like.
species or faction you want them to be in. But like you can just imagine like if you put a werewolf and a mage in the same party together, you just know that they would absolutely hate each other.
Yeah, probably. I mean, there's like that. So that's the thing about World of Darkness is that there's a lot of that, like, what's the word? Stereotype hate between factions. But,
Yeah,
like,
there's always that.
individually, once they, like, start talking, like, that tends to fade away. You'll when you read, like, I don't know if you've, like, when you were reading through the lore and read what other factions think of each other.
Yeah, or Mage of the Sun.
Like,
yeah,
you know, that's actually like, really funny, but like that's the kind of stereotypes that faction has about those factions.
right. So
That's like one of my favorite parts about World of Darkness is that there's like a realistic sense of like how people view other groups of people.
Yeah.
Even if they're in like the same faction, even if they're like the same person. Like if you were to bring it down to the real for a moment there, like even if you're the same race or the same color skin, right? There's like different delineations of, like, I'll give you an example of like a black person, right? And there are different delineations. We all have like opinions of what other black people are like.
yeah, that's bound to happen.
But like, yeah, like we all have like this idea of what other black people are like. This isn't even like going out to like other races. Like if you keep it just within one race, and then it's like different part of what a different like cultures of that race, we all have like opinions about what the other cultures are like, and they're not all good. Most of them are not good, but all that tends to go away once you actually start talking and become friends. But that's like there, and that's one of my favorite parts about World of Darkness is that they took that idea and they made it a part of the factions, which makes the world feel a little more alive, right?
Yeah.
If you were raised in this faction or in this culture, you're generally going to have this idea of the other cultures if you haven't interacted with them. Same thing with mage. Like that happens in Order of Hermes because the Order of Hermes is so big with so many different houses. Each house has its own culture. And that's just in the Order of Hermes in the 9 traditions. So people have an idea of what the Order of Hermes is like, but that's just like a generalized idea of the Order of Hermes. The Order of Hermes has so many different subcultures inside of it, it's not even funny. I don't know, I kind of like dipped back and forth between getting real and like talking about like nerd fantasy shit. But yeah, so imagine like what a cross chronicle would be like. So this is like a group of people who generally don't like each other and have a very, very vehement opinions about each other. Because for the most part, they either leave each other alone or they try to kill each other. Like, don't even get me started with like a werewolf and a vampire becoming friends. Like that's not happening. I mean, I could say the same for a mage and a werewolf, but vampires really don't like werewolves.
Is it because werewolves smell?
It's because werewolves are way more stronger than them.
Oh, and they're salty?
Yes.
Yeah, well, yeah, that'll do it.
And you know, mages are jealous of vampires because vampires could do all this cool, crazy shit and not have to pay for it, except in blood. Like they just have to drink blood. That's the only payment they have to pay. Mages have to are suffering because of their art. Anytime they do something that is obviously magical, they could just die.
Nah.
You know, you've got like ghosts who are just jealous of the living in general. Wraiths, I mean, and then you've got demons who just want to take over someone's body and not go back to hell and find as many simps as possible. That demon character I made was like an idea of like what if a demon possessed a mage, but instead of like trying to completely take over her body, he just keeps her alive, but they like talk, they like swap personalities. It's not immediately obvious who you're talking to if you're not like magically inclined. But if you are magically inclined, her skin color changes. Skin and hair color, I mean. Hello?
Yeah. Sorry, I got distracted. I'm typing something, but I'll finish it later. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, the setting is like you can just be a party of vagabonds dealing with everybody's shit, and yet sometimes they'll probably do things at the expense of others. Maybe depending on the party.
Yeah, I sort of had
They
a little
could
bit of
be,
stories of that going on.
you know,
Yep.
they could be different species and completely hate each other, but but they are forced to work together and they fucking hate it.
Yep.
And over time, it's just gonna end up. It goes from hating to working together to tolerating each other, and then maybe eventually friends. Then again, it depends on the party, as I said. And they can like do their own hijinks. So that's what I picture. What do you think, Rusty? How do you think this would
I
look like?
agree.
Well, yeah. I think we're done. We got what did what we wanted to do. I mean, I could make
Yep.
more mechanics, but like I don't have enough space. So we're gonna go ahead, edit here, and find somebody to raid.
Well, it was a good time being here.
You going to bed?
No, probably not.
Oh, good. Then we can still hang out. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. We're gonna raid our honor. Why not? It's been a while. They are playing some Diablo 4. Yeah, thank you all so much for joining us here today. Hope you all had a lot of fun learning more about the world of darkness and seeing the idea of a cross comp. Was that what it?
Cross Chronicle.
Cross chronicle. Thank you. Yeah. Hope you all enjoy yourselves. And again, happy Halloween. Remember to be healthy. Remember to be healthy. To remember to be happy. Remember to be healthy. And remember to be heavenly. I fucked that up so hard. But you know what? I'm a commit to it. Good night. Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.
That was fun.
Yeah.